Welcome back. Let's go. Okay. If you are somebody who is a systems manager, quality, safety, environment, you're responsible for looking after a quality management system, a safety management system, environment management system, cybersecurity management system, risk management system. We are here this morning to talk about how to improve that particular management system, how to make it more effective, how to get a better return on investment. Best way for me to run this presentation is for you guys to be asking me questions as we are live. We've had a small tech issue. I apologize for the people that have missed out. So for those of you watching on LinkedIn, thanks for joining us. Let me know where you're watching from. And for those of you guys who have caught up to our move, Vanessa is just emailing everybody from the previous LinkedIn stream that we just tried. We had a tech issue, broke the system. So we're just moving everybody across onto the new platform. So a couple of goes at this, but we will get it right. So now's the time to ask me your questions. I don't want to get started with the content until we've got everybody across. We had about 20 people sitting on YouTube waiting, so we'll get everybody across. So I can see some of the people coming along now. So we'll just wait a couple of minutes to get going. So let me know where, if you are watching on LinkedIn, let me know where you're watching from. Hit the comments there. Hit that like button, smash that like button for me. That would be absolutely fantastic. That helps me know that everyone's paying attention, and it's a bit of a roll call. Let me know where you're watching from, and more importantly, what are some of the challenges in thinking about the next 12 weeks with your management system, with your organization. Let me know what the biggest challenge is, because I can give you some help today. I'm here live. This is a Q&A. We try to keep the Thursday session nice and short and sweet today. I'm really excited. An update for everybody this morning. If you haven't checked us out on Instagram, go and follow me on Instagram. There's a little bit of behind the scenes today. Luke's been videoing. I've been working like a contractor, working in our new office fit out. That's been going full steam ahead for the last 3 weeks, and we hope to get some desks set up tomorrow. A little bit more of the team moving in, and then team moving into the office next week. So you're going to see live broadcasting from our studio in 2 weeks' time. No live broadcast next week. I'm going to take some time off. It's school holidays here. I'm going to go and spend some quality time with the family. So no live broadcasting. You can have the week off, everybody, next week. There will still be some content coming out. We've got some stuff pre-recorded. Luke is going to catch up on some editing. He's going to have a couple of days off as well. And it's the middle of winter here in Sydney, Australia. The sun's out. It's a lovely climate. So I'm going to go and make the most of that next week with some quality family time, and I need a rest. So let me know if you are watching on LinkedIn. If you've come across, I can see a few people now coming across onto YouTube. Let me know if you've got any questions. Thank you very much for that like there on LinkedIn. That's the place. You hit that like button down the bottom. Keep hitting that like button all the way through the stream. If there's things that I'm saying that are fantastic, keep hitting that like button and letting me know that you're there and paying attention. Excellent. The audience is growing on LinkedIn. And obviously the audience is now growing on YouTube. So if you are a quality manager, if you are a safety manager, if you're a systems manager, you're a business leader, you're an influencer, you're somebody with responsible for managing an ISO, International Standards Organizational Management System, ISO 9001 for quality assurance, or ISO 45001 for safety, for ISO 14001 for environment, or 27001, the cybersecurity standard, or risk management system in your organization. There's a couple of things I want you to understand. The first is those management systems are there to give you a system to follow to manage the business. And we lose sight of that sometimes. I get lots of questions about digging deep down into policies and procedures. What documents do I need? You know, what policies do I need to put in place? What procedures do I need? I want you to be thinking about, what do you need to run the business? What do you need to manage issues in your business? And for the most part, humans don't look to documents every day to get guidance. We just live our lives. If you think about your morning routine and you think about getting up in the morning and, you know, having a shower or getting ready for work or having some breakfast and traveling to work or doing some exercise, doing a workout, doing some study, we don't typically go to documents to give us guidance in life. You know, there may be a few meals in your kitchen that you cook on a regular basis. You don't need a recipe for that. You don't need to open the recipe book. When you want to try something different, you know, in terms of cooking, if you're thinking about cooking for a special occasion, you want to try something different or you want to get it right, you might go to the recipe book. You once every couple of months to check the recipe. You might be cooking something differently, and not very often you'll go to the recipe book to check the recipe. So I want you to be thinking about your management system as a reminder of how to do things in the right way, so that you can then go away and practice. And I have seen hundreds of thousands of documents over my career, and I've seen hundreds of thousands of policies prepared. I've seen billions of dollars wasted on spending a huge amount of time writing policies, procedures, systems, process. But they get written, they get printed out, they go in a folder, they go on the shelf, and nobody reads them. Nobody uses them, and they don't even refer to them when they need to, because they will ask their colleagues around them how to do something before they will actually open an instruction and follow an instruction. You get a new iPhone. How do I set up my iPhone? You'll go to YouTube and watch videos, or you'll talk to a friend. You won't necessarily read the instructions. So Apple makes new iPhones out of the box pretty intuitive in terms of setting them up. But it is something that I want you to consider, is there is a place for policies and procedures, but that's not what we're talking about today. I'm not talking about how to improve policies and procedures. I'm talking about how to improve your management system, how to have people able to access the information like a cookbook, to do things when they just want to check and get it right on an infrequent basis. And that's really important. So there is some points I've put up on the whiteboard this morning to accelerate the discussion, and you guys can do a screenshot of that. So as we sort of start talking about how to improve your management system, we've got to get our mindset right. We've got to be in the right place about understanding what is the control. Having a management system, what is it controlling? Well, it's controlling this random chaos of the organization, random wandering of all of your people. And it's saying, hey, if this situation arises, this is how to deal with it. In the unlikely circumstance of having an incident or accident, this is how we're going to respond. And using it as a training document, as a basis for discussion, not, I'm going to follow the steps. I was in a board meeting last night where there was a conversation about defibrillators, for if people are having a heart attack, you can use a defibrillator to jumpstart people. And we found that a group of people were quite scared of actually, that particular device and not knowing how to use it. And they said, well, we would like to get some training on that particular device. I said, well, the instructions are there on the wall. Just walk up to the wall, read the instructions, familiarize yourself with it, and then you can go and do it any time. But they're like, no, they thought they needed training. So there is my first point, is a management system is generally more effective when you start to talk to the audience about, well, how would you like to receive this information so you can digest it, so you can feel more confident? Because it's about your people in your organization feeling confident to undertake a task that they don't undertake very often. And how would they like to initially be presented with the information? So I would suggest that it would be almost more important to have training and guidance in a master and apprentice type scenario than it is to go and write hundreds of documents and policies and procedures. And so what we want to talk about is how will your team, how will your people, how will the people in your organization absorb the information, digest the information most effectively? And if you're thinking about cooking dinner, we're going to cook some vegetables. You chop up the vegetables. Why do you chop them up? So they cook faster and they're easier to eat. And so we need to think about our management systems, and we need to think about the guidance and advice and instructions in our organization so they are easier to eat. And that is my most important point as we talk about audience as the first thing and the first driver. So I'm just going to check in with the team. How are you guys going? Did you get it sorted out? Everyone's happy? Luke's nodding. Okay, so my apologies to the people that have just come across on YouTube. We had an issue with the first link we sent out, and I apologize for that small tech issue. We have been testing the last couple of weeks a new streaming software that lets us go on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and the different pages all at the same time. And we've had some teething problems, but it's certainly better than the last piece of software we used to use. So my apologies. So hit the like button there for me. Hey, Devon, welcome back. Thank you for your message on LinkedIn last night. I really appreciate that. I wish you well on your career journey. And Luke, good morning to you in the studio. Joe, welcome. Alison, thanks for joining us. Okay, so that's why documents need to be clear and current. Good documents will be used, bad documents won't. And then you get diversion from best practice. That's exactly right. And I see what you did there with the use of best practice. I appreciate that. So what we want to be thinking about is how we can cut up our business, and we can cut up the guidance and advice that we give people in the organization so that they can effectively digest it and use it. And if I look at the team out here in the office and I look at what they use on a day-to-day basis, they use very little instruction. But from time to time, they need little reminders. And so our management system is going to be focusing more on little reminders. Okay, next point, effectiveness. We really want to be talking about effectiveness. I would like to correct this expectation that we can write lots of policies and procedures and that will be effective in getting the organisation to operate and successfully achieve its goals. If the documents are poor, then you've got no chance. And it has been my life campaign, my career campaign, to have you guys thinking about and understanding when we're focusing on effectiveness, that policies and procedures and documents have been proven to be ineffective in helping people. To the point in OH&S where somebody came up with the concept of the hierarchy of control, and administration and policies and procedures are at the bottom. They are the least effective form of controlling risk and managing process, and that is why we lean quite heavily on recommending that you use the hierarchy of control to consider how you actually implement your management system, because administration and policies and procedures sit at the bottom. I've been a very active campaigner against writing lots of policies and procedures, specifically for their own purpose, that we think we need to write things down, particularly auditors, auditing and certifying quality assurance systems and OH&S systems and environment systems. I've been very critical of auditors, and I will continue to be, of auditors that go in and they are lazy and all they focus on is version control and dates and documents matching. And the audit becomes this paper-based audit, sitting in a room looking at documents. And I've been in some very high-risk environments where the major non-conformances in audits that have been raised have been about document control. And I have said, and I will actively say, you mean to tell me that you were in a heavy workshop or in a heavy factory and you couldn't find something that would kill somebody, and you couldn't find something that would upset a customer? All you found was some out-of-date documents, and the major non-conformance in an audit that you raised was about document control. You're fired. That is not going to help your organisation. Your organisation is, in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what could go wrong? And what are we going to do about that? It's going to be pointless updating your documents, because that's not going to stop things going wrong. And the hierarchy of control says that those documents are going to be fairly ineffective in controlling your risks. So I want you to, in terms of improving your management system, we use management review as the starting point. So the management review parts of the ISO standards is the starting point in terms of improving your management system. If you need to, just do more management reviews, less document updates, less policies, less procedures, more communication, more consultation with influencers and leaders in the business, and ask 4 questions. The first question is, in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what could go wrong? In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? What do we want to achieve? In thinking about the last 12 weeks, what went wrong? And the final question is, what are we doing about that? So for each of those first 3 questions, what are we doing about that? What are we doing to prevent things going wrong in the future? What are we doing to help ourselves achieve our goals? What are we doing about the things that went wrong so they don't happen again? And that's the four critical management review questions. Yes, you can look at the ISO standard, you can go through the standard, you can look at the different clauses, you can make sure that's part of management review. But I have found the most effective way for management systems to improve themselves is to start with management review. Start with looking at those things and start with focusing on running your organization and preventing things from happening, and focus on, and it's almost pig-headed, bloody-minded, focus on your goals and your ambitions for the organization, and the promises you make to your customers, and the safety promises you make to your people, and the environmental promises and commitments you make for your organization, and the cyber security issues that might come up, and the risks. Focus on those things, and then have a strategic conversation with key people in your business. What is the best way to ensure that we deliver our promises this month to our customer? What is the best way to ensure that this month we keep our staff safe? What are the types of accidents that we might have next month in our business, and what's going to be the best way to prevent those happening? Let's implement that, focus on that, because then we are outcomes focused. And I'm talking about point number 3 here, which is outcomes. What are the outcomes you hope to achieve? I was in a really interesting conversation a couple of days ago about in 6 months' time, what does success look like? In 6 months' time, we'd like to be in a position where people can walk through the organization, see a problem, and stop and fix it. Don't walk past it. At the moment, people are walking past problems and walking past issues and saying, well, that's above my pay grade. That's not my responsibility. And people are standing back and saying, that's not my responsibility. Well, it is. The leader of that organization is saying, well, of course it's your responsibility. It's everyone's responsibility, but the message isn't getting across. So the work that we're going to be doing is that in thinking about the next 12 weeks, no one in the organization, in 12 weeks' time, no one in the organization is walking past problems that they see, that they know that they can fix. We want people to report the issues so that the business can strategically get on top of all of those issues. In thinking about the next 12 weeks, in 12 weeks' time, we don't want someone to be able to randomly walk off the street and walk through the organization. And so that is really important. That's going to be an outcome. So we're focusing on outcomes. So the best way to improve your management system is saying, well, what's the outcome that we want to achieve? Have a conversation, and this is about training and communication and consultation. All the ISO standards talk about communication. Having that communication and consultation to focus on outcomes. Now's the time to hit me with questions. If you have got questions, I've obviously got some information to present to you guys, to keep you organized and things to think about. So if you are watching on YouTube or if you are watching on LinkedIn, please let me know where you're watching from. Just let me know your town or your suburb or your country where you are in the world. It was quite exciting in the session yesterday. We had people from all over the world. Say hello to each other in the comments there, either on YouTube or there on LinkedIn. And so I can see who's watching and who's paying attention and welcome everybody into the group. So, okay, next point I just want to quickly make is attractive. It's got to be attractive. If you are starting to look at your management system, your business plan, you want those things to be attractive. And look, what Luke's going to do for me now, looks like we just lost the YouTube stream. It's frozen. So as we go through this, what Luke's going to do for me now is he's going to bring up an ebook that we sell. You can purchase this particular book. Vanessa's going to drop the link to it in our online store. And this is a document that we've written to help you guys to understand how to improve your management system. It's a small booklet that we've written. It's fairly cheap and it's accessible. You can click on it, get it electronically and download it and print it and use it as a basis to help you build your management system, improve your management system, implement your management system. It's our little ebook. So Vanessa's just put the link there in the comments on YouTube, and I think she's going to drop the link in the comments onto LinkedIn, so you can click on that link. What Luke's going to do for me now is he's going to bring it up on the screen. We're going to have a quick look at it. And so this is an ebook. Luke's just going to scroll through the pages as we go through here and show you guys, it's got to be attractive. So any documents you produce, we've put a lot of work into this particular document so that it becomes interesting and people feel value. Because I know that if I ask somebody to read this and follow it like a recipe book, it's got to be attractive. It's got to be welcoming. And so with your policies and procedures and your management systems, your business plan, anything that you document, it's got to be welcoming. It's like having a nice office. It's like having a nice, tidy house. Your documents and process, it does take more work. But in terms of measuring effectiveness and the transfer of information, it's got to look good. Okay, Luke, let's go. We can start scrolling through. And so this little How to Implement a Management System ebook, you can go through and you can see that we've put some effort in. We could have just had, thank you for the love hearts. Keep hitting those love heart buttons. You can go through this ebook and it's welcoming. It's attractive. We could have just written a black and white guide. And we certainly have been doing that. Some of the free guides that are available on our website, we don't put as much investment into those things, but this is something that we do sell to give you guys some help. This is like the DIY recipe book for any business. This is the backbone of any organization to make it successful. If you are missing, it's not about ISO certification in this instance. It's about following this because this is how you implement your business plan. Hey, Roger, thank you very much for that comment. I appreciate that. I will cover Plan, Do, Check, Act shortly. So if Luke just keeps scrolling through there, it talks about our vision, our mission. It asks you to consider your why, all the components that are part of a successful organization. In the analysis that I've done over my career and we've done as a business over the life of this business, looking at over it would be well over 50,000 businesses in the last 20 years and probably 40,000 businesses in the 16 years that I've been running best practice, that as we look at those organizations, these are the common elements that we've picked out from the successful organizations. Like the work of the great Jim Collins in his book, Good to Great, he has picked out the observations from the large organizations that made it from good to great and their transition. He's picked out the key parts. So if you put good to great and this little ebook together and you do everything in terms of implementing it in this, your organization will be successful. I guarantee it, because it's about following those processes and following our advice. So what we've done here, my point here is about attractiveness. This becomes your workplace, your workspace, your policies, your procedures, the things you document and develop. It's like having a well-presented house or having a clean and tidy house, having a nice workplace, having a nice workspace. It feels good to be in there. So if you are writing policies, if you are writing documents, if you are writing procedures, they've got to be nice to look at. And so you don't want it to be a shambles. You don't want it to be in chaos. And we might put an effort into, if we're going for a night out, if we're going out to dinner, or we're going on a date, or we're seeing a partner, or we're going to a special event or a special occasion, we get dressed up. It is important to dress up your documents. It's important to dress up your business so it's ready for action. So what we've done here to set the example is, this is a great document. It's got SWOT analysis, it's got issues lists, it's got recaps. So Luke's going to keep scrolling. That you can purchase this particular document, you can check it all out. And what it is it's a nice thing to read. And so I want you to be considering that attractiveness that I talked about here on the whiteboard is really, really important. Okay, you can fast forward a little bit there. Stan Wall there on LinkedIn, he's saying it's a great resource. He has been using it, and his organization is going from strength to strength, which is good to see. So yeah, you can fast forward to the bottom there, Luke. So that's just showing you a quick view. You can purchase that from my online store. I don't often, give shout outs to the products that we sell. I like to give lots of free content away, but it's the revenue from the sales of these products that keeps this engine running here at Best Practice. So if you haven't purchased a copy of this particular document, I would encourage you to do that. Vanessa's put the link there in the comments, both on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So please go and check that out. Okay, thank you very much, Luke. We can go back to the full screen. So I'd encourage you all to get a copy of that. I think it's only a couple of $100 to get an electronic copy of it and download it. And it's an excellent resource. Goes through the hierarchy of control, has lots of great stuff there. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can work this tech. Okay, we're back. I've got my coffee here. I hope everyone's got a coffee and or a warm drink. Okay, let's hit me with questions. Okay, welcome from Jamaica. Welcome from Ireland. Welcome from Cape Town in South Africa. Welcome from Ghana. Hey, Frederick. Virginia in the USA. Thank you for joining us, Barbara. If any of you guys ever want to reach out to me, send me a direct message on LinkedIn, and Kayla can organise a time. I apologise to Eugene. I missed the call yesterday. I got busy. So I'm attempting to catch up with Eugene. I think in Ireland right now it's the middle of the night. So I hope Eugene gets an opportunity to catch up. I missed that session, but always happy to have a 15 or a 30-minute session on Zoom or on Google Meet. Google Meet's the best thing for me. To use Google, log into Google and do that call. If you ever want to have a chat and you've got an issue that you want to solve in your organization, please reach out to me. Thanks for your comments there, Roger. Management review process is the most effective way to address issues and focus resource to areas to add sustainability this in the current environment. I agree, Roger, wholeheartedly. Communication and consultation is the key to all management issues and growth purpose. Anne Marol, I absolutely agree. Again, thanks for joining us. Yeah, absolutely. So there's lots of agreement there on LinkedIn with you guys. So now's the time to ask me some questions. What audit questions from each clause are the best to ask during process audits? Devin, that's a great question. No questions from any clause of the standard. From my perspective, we don't, and I don't train people on this, and I don't encourage people on this to ask questions against clauses. Your job as you develop your profession is to be a professional interpreter. Your clients and the people you're working with do not need to know clauses of the standard. They do not need to know the words of the standard. If you are there to verify someone's following it, you just need to know that's the structure, that's the skeleton. So when you're doing a process audit, it's your job to know where the answers to questions fit and how to interpret the standard into the organization you're working with. So for example, quality policy, just as an example, or any of the policies. Or actually, yeah, let's use management review because it's a better clause. How do you guys go about doing your strategic planning for your organization? How do you guys go about setting the business's objectives for the next quarter? How do you guys go about communicating the business's objectives? How do you keep everybody focused on the goals of the organization? How do you keep everybody focused on the issues and risks that might come up in the next quarter? Do you guys run any sort of company-wide training? Do you guys run any sort of company-wide communication? When people miss out on communication, is there a place for them to go so that they can check out things that have been communicated or go back over old communications? So my answers to the questions are, well, yes, of course. We have quarterly reviews. We do quarterly management meetings. We have board meetings. We have executive meetings. We have fortnightly managers meetings. We do broadcasting communication via a private secret Facebook group to our team. We broadcast videos. We have unlisted videos on YouTube. We have secret videos on Facebook, and they form part of the way that we communicate and consult with team members in our business. But we also know there are people in our business that don't use Facebook, even though they are asked to use Facebook. We know they won't watch YouTube, even though we ask them to watch YouTube. So from time to time, as the CEO, I also email out company-wide communications. And I did one of those company-wide emails. I do about one a month. I did one a couple of nights ago. So those are the answers to the questions. Now that fits into management review, fits into leadership commitment, fits into policy, fits into objectives and targets. How do you track the progress of your organization to its goals? How do you keep a record of the things that go wrong? How do you proactively monitor how your organization is operating as it leads into month end or quarter end? That's management review, it's monitoring and measurement. So it's very important. I can guarantee you will confuse people in the organization you're working with. You will turn them off. You will upset them because it's not their job to know this stuff. That's your job. And so it's very important to not, although there may be some people who want to learn about the standards, it should not be implied, it should not be intended that they need to know the standard. You put the effort in, you put the work in on leading the organizations you're working with, whether you're internal or external, to follow a model that is successful. The ISO standards are very successful, well proven. There's more organizations on this planet using ISO standards for business improvement than any other business model globally. It's the most popular, probably the most tried and tested, and I think when it's done properly, probably one of the most efficient ways to manage risk and grow businesses on the planet, which is why I'm a massive advocate for it. So I want you to just understand that. So I know I went through those questions quickly. Please replay the video at a later date and you can go through and pick up some of those questions. But in terms of doing process audits, you can start to think about, going from marketing and working out what product to sell in the market, then going to sales, how do they sell those products that they come up with? Then, customer service level agreement, contract negotiation, how do orders and quotes for services and products go through the organization. Whether it's a call center or a factory or an accounting firm or a law firm, there will always be marketing, there will always be sales, there will always be some sort of briefing, whether it's an architectural practice, a builder, an engineer, a factory, a transport company, a waste management company, a landfill, a mine, an airline. They're all very different, but they all still have to think about what they're going to take to market, think about how they do their sales, think about how they're going to serve their customers, think about how they're going to take orders, think about going through that. So you go through that process and then start to move backwards and forwards through the standard to understand that they have met the intent. It's your job to help the organization follow the intent of the model, not to learn the clauses of the standard. And I hope this is helping you, and I hope that, and it was a great question. Okay, that was the question on YouTube. Let me have a quick look there. Dustin Gray, watching from the US, welcome. Thank you for joining us. in the process of trying to get my organization to take the next step. Could you just click that see more there for me, Luke, so I can see that comment? Just that one there. Apologize. Thank you. Appreciate. Okay, so Dustin, watching from the US, thank you very much. In the process of trying to help my organization take the next step in their growth, and your videos and resources have been very helpful in that process. You're very welcome, Dustin. I appreciate the comments. I'm always happy to help. So I hope that little process that we went through. So if there are challenges in terms of what you guys want to do in your organization, then please reach out to me. Malachi, thank you very much for your comment. You saw me on TikTok. Yeah, we've got about 2,500 followers on TikTok. Yes, we are using it as a corporate branding strategy. We are using all platforms: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. I'm using all those social media platforms to get our information out there. So if you haven't followed me on TikTok, please go across and do that. But be warned, TikTok becomes very addictive, and you may definitely have an issue with losing a couple of hours of your life. Okay, so quick check-in with Luke. Is the tech all working? Because we've just lost the blue light on this camera, on this one. Everything's going okay? Okay, perfect. Excellent. Okay, I'm just conscious of time. It's been half an hour. I can see the lag there on the screens. Any other questions from anybody? Has this been helpful? So Vanessa, if you could do me another favor, if you could please drop the link again to that ebook. So anyone who's interested in helping their organization, not just follow ISO standards, but to maybe check out that book on our website and purchase a copy, I would encourage you guys to do that. It's relevant for anyone with a business. Anyone with a business, it's a good little how-to manual to help you build your organization, and it is relevant. So if you are somebody who is committed to the success of your organization, thank you, Vanessa. If you're somebody who's committed to the success of your organization, please go ahead and click on and check out that little ebook. Use it as a workbook and use it to build out your business management system, your SWOT analysis, identify some of your risks, set your goals, unpack your purpose. It's a good little DIY exercise for you guys to go ahead and check out. Okay, Barbara, thank you very much for the kind comments. That's my intention. I want to get you guys thinking differently. It's my goal, it's my passion, it's my vision and mission to help your organizations to be successful. And when your organizations are successful, then my organization will be successful. We get to work together to achieve some success. More importantly, doing some meaningful work and leaving an impact on the planet. So it is a good thing. Making your organizations fun places to work, safe places to work, great places to invest in, great organizations to buy from. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what I get excited about. And I get a huge feeling of pride when I get to see your organization succeed, and that I know that I've played a small part in that success. So I like being on board with you guys. So Barbara, I appreciate the kind words there on YouTube. Thank you very much. Okay, are there any further questions? In 2 weeks' time, we're going to be going live again. So not next week, but the week after, there we go, mouthful. We will be back with the live presentations. I want to run more of a Q&A. I want to bring you guys on. I want to start talking to you guys, and I want to be answering your questions, because we did some yesterday where I was able to help an organization with their specific challenges. If you've got challenges with tendering, with sales, with business development, with leadership, with management systems, that's what these Q&As are all about. And I like seeing the comments there, but we might start bringing some guys on the screen and sharing some of that sort of stuff too. If there is somebody that you would like me to interview, if your business wants to get a little bit of exposure on our YouTube channel, please reach out to me. We can do a podcast together. We can do a video together. I'm more than happy if there's someone in your organization that wants to get a bit of exposure for your brand to our clients and our customers and our audience. Please let me know. We will have our podcasting studio set up where our audio experience is going to improve even further. So if you want to check out any of our podcasts, go to your favorite podcast platform. So if you want to check out any of the podcasts, go to your favorite podcast platform, check out the Kobe Simat audio experience. We have an exciting new show that's about to start, which is my brother Dane and I talking about all things business. Quite exciting to listen to two brothers talking business. That's going to be fantastic. We'll bring on some guests, we'll do some interviews, and we're going to start talking a little bit more about the factory that we're operating and the businesses that we operate. So that's exciting. Look out for that. That's a couple of weeks away to get those episodes ready to go. Okay, go and try and find me on TikTok. Go and have some fun on TikTok. It's lots of fun, lots of great videos, tips and tricks there. And hit that like button. Smash that like button on YouTube for me. Smash the like button there on LinkedIn. And if you don't see me out and about because I'm going to be on holidays, you'll definitely see me next time right here on Best Practice TV. Bye for now. I'm going to go and finish the office so everyone can go back to work. Bye for now.